Hello and good morning. Good morning, explorers. Welcome to our final segment of Be an Explorer Spring Edition. We are taking a short break for the next few weeks. We will be back in June with new people, new explorations, new fun to be had. So thank you for everybody who has joined us over the last 2 months. I'm outside, so I cannot see your comments today. So I will come back and check them when I am through here. Super excited about today's live stream. We've been talking about sourdough all week. And yesterday, Jan made some sourdough. And I actually made some sourdough. Those of you who watch this frequently will remember Bubbles. Unfortunately, Bubbles, I don't know, something went off. And so I am not going to be cooking with Bubbles today, but I've got other things we're going to be talking about. We're going to start out, as we always do, with Be an Explorer, with a quick exploration of what's going on where we are. I am live streaming from Pierre, South Dakota, my backyard. You can see my neighbor's house right over there. And we're going to take a quick peek at the sky. Hop up and poke your head out the door, run to the window, look at the clouds, look at the wind, and do a body thermometer. I'm going to look around what's happening here. I have my cloud chart, and the way I use it, I'm going to hold it up and up against the sky. And as I look through it, I am seeing, I'm seeing, it looks like I have some alto cumulus clouds. It looks like we have maybe stratus clouds becoming cumulus clouds. I think we are transitioning weather systems. We'll see what the rest of the day has for us in terms of weather. But yeah, where I'm seeing pillows and blankets, not in the same place, but one in front of the other. And that usually means the weather's about to change. Lots of sun, as you can see. I'm looking at the leaves blowing, and I can feel the wind, of course. I'm seeing some movement in the grasses and the leaves, a couple of gusts that are making the twigs and the small branches move. So I'm calling it about a 2 or a 3, a 2. Not super windy. 0, of course, is still. 1 is just the grasses and leaves. 2 are the twigs. Here we're bumping up to 3 right now. So somewhere between a 2 and a 3. I think it's because we have an incoming weather system. You can see I have my thermometer from the Explorers kit. And let's see if we can get the good read on this. And it is 20 degrees Celsius here in the sun. 20 is nice. 30 is hot. 20 is nice. 10 is chilly. 0 is ice. Speaking of Explorer kits, we have these for sale at the Discovery Center. All your Explorer items in one place. We have the thermometer. It is glass, so you will need to be careful. A notebook. It may or may not be orange. Petri dish. Hand lens. Really important. Pencil. And a pipette. And I won't take the pipette out of the wrapper here, but it's like an eyedropper, but it's good for squeezing up water and for kind of nudging things that you don't want to touch. Over the last 2 months, we have talked a lot about the Explorer's tools, our senses, hand lenses, looking at things, our notebooks, our journals. I have my journal with me. I have a lot of stuff with me today. Here it is. I carry my journal in a bag. So here's my journal. Here are my pens and papers. So today, though, we're going to talk about setting up our field camp. And you can see in the background, I have my tent out. And I wanted to talk about this because I think one of the most exciting parts about being an explorer is going into the field to do your research and your explorations. And right now, even for the National Geographic explorers, they are at home. They are not in the field. So if you just go explore your backyard, you are literally being just like a National Geographic explorer. You'll remember Carlos, the man from Mexico. He works for National Geographic. You remember Vanessa in Costa Rica? She is a National Geographic explorer, and they're all at home, and they're exploring where they are. So we are going to be in our backyards, but we can still set up our base camps. And this way we can practice in our backyard. And this way, when we're ready to really go exploring, we'll be ready because we'll know what we need for our base camp. Usually when I ask, especially young people, young explorers, what do you need to be an explorer? At the very beginning, people will say things like a tent, a map, all the gear. And that's exactly right. Today we're at the gear section of being an explorer. We've talked a lot about the skills, but we're going to talk a little bit about the gear. So my tent got blown way over there. So I have some of my gear. I have my backpack, and I take this out whenever I hike. And the most important thing for the backpack is it has water, and I have a whistle. Because if I get hurt, I can whistle a lot longer than I can yell. And I can also be a lot louder. In my backpack, I'll carry some of my journal and whatnot, but I also carry a first aid kit. And mine's pretty hefty because I'm a wilderness first responder. So I have things like a CPR mask. I also have Band-Aids and things like that. If you're a young person, like you're not in charge of your field camp, you may or may not need the first aid kit, but somebody in your party should. If you're in your backyard, if you have your backyard base camp, that's okay. I also carry a headlamp, and I don't have it in here today because I'm not actually going out hiking. I usually have one more layer. So if it's like nice like this, I'll add a slightly heavier jacket because I don't want to get stuck out in the cold. I also have a rain poncho for sudden rainstorms that might pop up. I try to watch the weather and see what's happening, but this is South Dakota. We do get thunderstorms unexpectedly in the summer, especially. And I try not to be out in a thunderstorm because thunder is one of the few things that will send me inside. Also, even I now hike with two of these. You don't need a buff, but you could use a bandana, and you just wear them around your neck. And the reason for that is if I get hurt, or I'm trying to help someone who's hurt, or if I'm just passing someone on a trail, I can cover my face and nose pretty quickly. I'll also put some face masks in my first aid kit in case I have to help somebody who doesn't have one. Even out in the field, we need to be thinking about how to be safe, and face masks and clean hands are always important. So speaking of clean hands, water. I have I had my soap here somewhere. I have a lot of stuff. So I carry soap, and it's a special kind of soap. It's biodegradable. So when I'm out someplace where I don't want to leave any trace, where I want to protect the environment, I'll use just a little bit of soap and then water, and I'll get the dirt off my hands. And then I'll use hand sanitizer which I do have in my bag here. I use hand sanitizer. And of course, you always use hand sanitizer after going to the bathroom when you're camping. If you're camping someplace that has sinks and whatnot, use those. But hand sanitizer and clean hands are really important, even when you're at base camp way out in the field, especially when you're way out in the field. We've talked about microbes, and microbes are great. They help keep us healthy, but not all of the microbes are meant to be on our hands that go into our mouth. So we need to make sure our hands stay clean, even if there was no COVID. Other things I do to protect myself is I use bug spray. I actually don't use this kind of bug spray. I didn't have the kind I normally do. It has lemon oil in it. I use a bug spray that is approved by the EPA for insect control. And I like the lemon oil, the one the best, because it's probably the least harmful to the organisms around us. But we have to think about protecting ourselves too. You'll notice I'm wearing long sleeves. Even if it's hot weather, I'll put on a very lightweight long sleeve shirt to protect against sun and bug bites. And let me show you how styling I am today. Ta-da! Let's see, did you see that? Yep. I wear long pants with them tucked into my socks. If you've been outside, you know ticks are a thing. And so tucking your pants into your socks helps keep ticks from crawling up your pant legs. Most ticks cling onto grass. And if you walk through grass, which is like leg height, they'll jump off on you and they'll try to get to under your clothes. So just, if you don't look super cool, but that's okay. The birds don't care, the flowers don't care, the insects don't care. Nobody cares what you look like when you're out in the field. The most important thing is that you are safe. You're protecting yourself and you're protecting the environment you're working in. So no worries about being cool out there. I'll even tell you today my socks don't match. That's how uncool I am. I have a hat. I'm not going to wear it today, but if I were outside for a long time, I would. Maybe I will wear it today. In gear, I bring my camera, although you don't need an expensive camera. I started out being an explorer with my phone because I felt it was really important that anybody can be an explorer, and not everybody has phones. I know that, but a lot of people have phones. More people have phones than have expensive cameras. I bought this camera, and this is kind of extravagant. I bought this camera because I wanted to take better pictures of birds for iNaturalist. So, yeah, that's how I roll. It was a birthday present for me. I also have binoculars. So we have hand lenses to see up close and binoculars to see far away. What else do I have? When we're out in the field, one of the things we need to think about is the kind of food we bring. And at this point, I was going to trot out bubbles and cook with, make something with my sourdough starter. That didn't work out so great. So instead today, what I'm going to do is show you something I actually would bring out with me. I probably, in all honesty, would never bring sourdough starter out with me. So I'm going to lower this a little bit so you can see my kitchen setup. I'll turn it over here. So I have a set of drawers, and I bring them to my base camp. And here I have a packet of oatmeal. And I do have a National Geographic Explorer friend. His name is Isai, and he explores in Patagonia. He actually hikes around the different streams looking for the different insects that live in the waters, the streams of Patagonia. And most of us, when we think of Patagonia, we think of clothes, this really kind of cool clothing company. He's actually in Patagonia down in South America, which is in Argentina. So that's pretty cool. He says he just brings oatmeal with him. He'll go out for a week and that's pretty much all he will eat. I think he'll bring other stuff too, but this forms the bulk of his calories. So anyway, so when you eat oatmeal in the field, you are eating legit explorer food. My stove consists of one of these. This is a canister of all-season fuel blend. And when I'm camping in cold weather, I have to put this in my sleeping bag to keep it warm, because if it gets too cold, it doesn't light. This is the thing, this is actually called the stove. And this looks nothing like the stove in our kitchens, but here we go. I'll open this up. It's very light. It's a backpacking stove. Here's my pot. You can see it fits very well. It's specially made to fit on this backpacking stove. It's very light. It has a lid. In my set of drawers here, you'll notice I have a plastic bag. And whenever I go out, and that's the other thing I forgot to tell you I carry with me in my backpack. Even if I'm just doing a little day hike locally, I'll often carry a plastic bag with me for trash. We've talked a lot about picking up trash around our houses and in our neighborhoods. Unfortunately, you can find trash even out in the wilderness. And so we should pick it up if we can. But the most important thing you can do is to not leave any. It's called leave no trace. When you leave a place, nobody should know that you were there except for maybe some trampled down grass. So that's one of the things I think about when I'm setting up my base camp. So I carry a plastic bag with me. I'm going to make some oatmeal, and the instructions say I have to boil the water. So I'm going to add half a cup of boiling water, or half a cup of water. So I'm going to turn this over here so hopefully you can see me get some water. Let's see. No, it's not coming in very good. Okay. Come back over here. I'll get the lighter. Hopefully the wind won't kick up. No. Go to plan B. Matches. I like these big long matches. These are waterproof, first of all, so they'll light in the rain. And second of all, I can light from back here, so I don't have to worry about my fingers. And you can see it's beginning to boil already. Smoke. That was fast. Now this is a pretty cool packet because I just tear it. I can just pour the boiling water in here. If I don't want to do that, I can take my bowl I'm going to put it here because I don't want to hold something while I'm pouring hot water into it. Let that sit for a moment. I'm going to put some hand sanitizer on before I eat. And then I'll use my reusable silverware. Actually, it's made out of bamboo. It's light. So I actually carry this bowl with me and my thing of silverware wherever I go. So I don't have to use reusables. May have put a little too much water in there. That's okay. Very good. I like oatmeal. So that is our field camp. And I hope as you go explore over the next few weeks that you set up a base camp, maybe in your backyard or someplace near your house, and you continue to explore. Use your journal, get an explorer's kit, and use the hand lens. You can email store@sd-discovery.org if you don't need everything, and Sarah can help you. Continue to listen for birds and the noises around you. Maybe stop by and ask or email Sarah and ask for one of these. This book is free. The Cloud Observer is free. They do come with the kits, so if you get a kit, you get some of these, but you can also just request these. So that is our session for today. I hope you will continue to be an explorer. Remember about leaving no trace, picking up trash. That's how we can protect our environment. Protect yourself. Wear a face mask. Keep your hands clean especially when you're around other people. Stay safe. Stay curious. Go explore, and we'll see you in a few weeks.